Okay, we should be live. How is everybody doing? Been quite a week. I mean, considering Monday that the Pope died, and of course, Yaira Free launched the same day, and of course, we've got the launch of Mighty Golden Patriot that happened on Friday, which is today. So there's quite a bit to talk about. So I'm gonna wait a bit for people to come in to the chat. So got one viewer in here, so I'm sure we'll get some more. So I'm just going to wait and chill for a little bit before we put the trailer on for the Mighty Golden Patriot, and then we get into the show. So hopefully everybody's doing well. I certainly am. But I guess one of the things I can't do, not necessarily play the trailer quite yet. I don't necessarily want to, but at this moment, although I did watch the trailer a little bit, pretty nice. 730 books sold, $22,000 so far. So I think this definitely can hit the $100,000 goal, and I think this can end out somewhere between, I guess, $250,000. So it's going to be a pretty respectable amount of money for this project to make. I imagine it's going to get into the six figures. And me personally, I'm going to wait a little bit. Play some intros. I guess what we'll do is we'll play the trailer.
The year is 1945. World War II rages from the halls of Buckingham Palace to the shores of the Nile River. Even now, the clash between freedom and tyranny is about to boil over. Somewhere in North Africa, two American flyboys are soaring high on a reconnaissance mission, searching for clues to a peculiar new obsession, with the occult gripping the Nazi high command.
No. This magic, I know it. It is not Magus Newmite. No, I know he's dead. He has to be. Yes, it is as I have least suspected. I've fallen victim to her. Of course, she will come to avenge him. She's here. This prince's bride, hidden amongst the innocent. Pulling my strings as she spins a web of lies. The queen of nightmares. Magus Coonside. Now it's time for you to die.
Okay, there we go. That is the Yaira Freeze trailer. Absolutely fantastic. Before we get into that, I want to talk about the Golden Patriot, or the Mighty Golden Patriot, I should say. This is I guess the big news. This has been a really highly anticipated book, of course, coming from Yellow Flash and John Dillard, who participated in one of the ISOM fan art contests. I can't remember. He didn't win. I think it was ISOM 2. He was the runner-up, of course. Michael Montanet won, and that's how he got the gig working on Blood Roof. Very thankfully, because his art's fantastic. Really compliments what the Saskas were going for in that book. But anyways, this is going to be the World War II Sentai story. I know Yellow Flash, I guess, has a heart for that. Go into some of these interiors. Of course, very clearly, you got the Imperial Japanese flag and you got the swastikas here. So very, very World War II. Absolutely like this art. Well, I think the face looks a bit simplistic here, but Dillard's definitely a master of the craft, and I'm sure this will look even better in person. And like pages like this, like, oh man, look at that. That's some fantastic artwork there. So definitely am really excited for this one. Definitely am going to pick it up along with the I believe yeah, I'm sure if I can find it. But there's also a like Tales from the Battlefield book, but I need to find that. Yeah, there we go. Here we go. Well, and this one's only $6. But shipping, I think, for the what is it? Represent, I think, it's a little bit more expensive. Oh, we got Mike Has Bad Knees in chat. Doing well. We're talking about Mighty Golden Patriot. Of course, this is Tales from the Battlefield. This is about LT Lieutenant Rick Rogers, a soldier forced back into battle after narrowly escaping death. Facing an enemy wielding terrifying powers, Rogers must confront his darkest fears in a fight that could determine humanity's fate. Quite interesting. So this is going to be 24 pages. You've got the Quaff Okamoto. I believe he did Shotgun Samurai. I have that. I need to get that onto the review list. Got a whole bunch of stuff for this month I haven't reviewed yet, so I really need to get onto it. But Yellow Flash and Literature Devil are writing this. The interior artwork is done by the Quaff, who I believe did Shotgun Samurai. Pretty sure he did. This is a simple 24-page story, so this is going to be basically a floppy that's accompanying the main story of Mighty Golden Patriot, of course. And I'm not sure if I can get a page count on this, but this is probably like a 72 to 96 pager. And it's going to be pretty interesting to see what this story is, how long it does, because it's going to end in July. It's going to run for about 3 months. It's going to fulfill in quarter 3, so that's sometime between I believe June and September. So it's only going to be 5 months at the most before this book comes out. 60 pages, I think. I did pick up the prequel story and a copy of Golden Patriot. Yeah, really cool. And yeah, I think more people are going to back this as time goes on. Of course, that's the way it works. And I'm certainly going to buy this. It's just, I know it's going to fulfill in quarter 3. So I'm going to move within that time frame. So I think hopefully before the campaign ends, I can get an order in, and I'll probably get this a little bit later. So with most of the books from the Rippaverse and Rippasun, in that first day one wave of people who get it shipped out, I probably won't be for this, but with how quick they go, I don't think it'll be much of a gap because they're pretty good at fulfilling at the same time. And Mike has golden bad knees, bad golden, but I don't know what I'm saying. Mixing Golden Patriot, but Mike has bad knees and saying 60 pages. Let's see. I did have a short story. Remember, this doesn't include shipping costs like Indiegogo. Yeah, that is a good point. There aren't any shipping costs, but of course, I don't think the ISOM 1 campaign did as well, and all of the other Rippaverse numbers. So, like I said, I'm not sure if this is going to be a $400,000 campaign, but I think this could tap out somewhere around 250. I think this could be updating on. Yeah, I just refreshed. It's probably, I don't know, the counter isn't necessarily as live as Indiegogo's is as well, or the way they had it with the I guess the initial campaign launches, but that was because there was so much traction it just had to update because there was so much information coming in. And of course the the site crashed on like ISOM 1 and ISOM 2, and then I think Alpha Core they had gotten the problems ironed out by then. And after that it was pretty smooth sailing. So Enlightened Fan is in the chat. How you doing? Definitely interacted with you on Twitter, and of course, you have quite a storied history on the I don't know, Bird app, X app, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, definitely nice to see you in the chat. I do like I don't know. I like the put downs, but sometimes I get sick of the drama because it's just the same nonsense over and over again. But anyway, this is about the comics. So my guess was anywhere between 250 and 400K, which is a broad range. I know. Yeah, I agree. But there's definitely things that could happen. Of course, you can have more intention exposed onto this for whatever reason. It gets picked up in the algorithm. Someone makes a video about it. One of Yellow Flash's videos as well, or I think he's got like the Flash cast on Saturday. So it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out. And then full week of the. Let's see. I hope I don't look too bad on X. I guess TOO, but. I don't know. I think there's a certain. I don't think any of this is necessarily like healthy. Like even using the internet at all. I think you can make an argument for for that, but of course, that it's in tune with being a Luddite, and that's a whole other thing. But anyway, I think the biggest focus should be on the comics and having fun. And if you're getting into online spats with people, even if they are saying things that are egregious and you want to correct, I think it ends up being a net negative after a certain threshold. But I'm not going to go and try and be didactic or lecture you. So we got Garfield's Bizarre Adventure. Says saying hello, hail Garfield. And yeah, I did see that. And I agree with you there. So that is all well and good. But like I said, I'm not going to go and wag my finger and say, how you should live your life because you're an adult and I'm not your parent. But anyway, so this is Mighty Golden Patriot. It's going to follow basically the Sentai story where it's in 1943. I think the trailer might have said 45, maybe I'm mishearing, but you got Jack Rogers. It's like Steve Rogers, but finds himself shot down in enemy territory over North Africa, forced into a desperate struggle for survival. Jack uncovers a hidden relic in the sands of Egypt that transforms him into the Golden Patriot, being of extraordinary power, capable of turning the tide of war. Yeah, and we're talking about the comics today. Excited to read this. Yeah. I am too. Definitely going to read this eventually. The internet healthy. I get great enjoyment from following Kanye's antics. Yes, man. I love Graduation. That's an album I listen to a lot. When I had a longer commute to work, I would listen to morning music, and Graduation was one I'd play a lot. And that's still like Good Morning is a song I have my Alexa alarm set to. So that's what I hear, and then I turn it off, and then I doom scroll for like 20-30 minutes, and I start the day. Weekends I just sleep in, which is probably going to do tomorrow. Let's see. We're going to go, speaking of comic books, right? Well, what I want to do is go to Yaira. We've got 10 people in the chat. Absolutely fantastic. I want to talk about Yaira free because with Mighty Golden Patriot launching, that's what's been like in my mind because it's finally happened, and of course with John Dillard being attached to this, Flash being attached to this, and there's conversations. I mean, you got the pay your artist shirt, which I remember being teased so long ago. They're actually doing it, so you've got a lot of molding. Renowned Zero did a video where he goes into that, so if you want that breakdown, but this is just about to hit 100K in the first less than a week because it'll be on Monday. It'll be the 28th when it'll be its first full week. So this is going to be pretty good. I mean, people, are really happy with the consistency with Yaira. I know Rippa's about to stream in 30 minutes celebrating this. So if you guys want me to end the live stream so you guys can watch that, because, they're the more interesting ones. Let's see. I definitely want to. Stop by. I can definitely do that. I can put it on in the chat and I can say that I'm live streaming right now. I mean, I'm not sure if I would do a super chat. I mean, I could do a super chat with off of having the stream. Like I just have it in another tab. But anyway, that's a whole other discussion. But I did have plans for this show. I wanted to do the Rippaspiracy segment. Student of God was talking to me about doing segments. And I was planning on doing that and having this like 2-hour show. But we've got Yaira free. And honestly, I'm not saying this isn't exciting because look how cool this freaking art is. You got Yeshua, Yashua here. Actually, and I'm going to open up this in a new tab. I'm going to share this tab instead. Going through the art, love doing this on the computer. It's going to really like zoom in, show things in good detail. We got Edwin Boyette. Evening, listen in while I write up the Indie Comic Book Report number 5. Of course, Edwin has been a really great conversationalist on these live streams, and of course he's busy now, so I'm not going to ask him to go onto the chat. Does absolutely fantastic work. Should follow him. When I post the VOD of this, I'll at you as I usually do. So definitely follow him. He posts all of his stuff on Twitter, on X. And then, yeah, this is really good. And he's doing those really great, reports, keeping track of the numbers. And with the collection numbers, Edwin, it doesn't count the store sales. So the amount of turnover the Rippaverse makes is a lot more than the collection numbers. And you're making the observation that's pretty healthy in terms of just the amount of money that's being made. But yeah, this is fantastic art. But this is we got the first two Yaira books already in less than 3 years of this company existing. The third one is on the way. So it's not that it isn't exciting. It's just it's not the new series is launching. The ongoing series is continuing as you would expect a legitimate publisher to do. It's continue their series. And of course, we're getting Item number 3. Really excited for that. My most anticipated book is, of course, still Alpha Core 2. But Horseman number 1 is really cool as well. And hopefully you get more Alpha Core from Chuck Dixon, which is one of the reasons why I love that. Oh, but man, I have to put my screen because I had the tab. So we're going to do window. I'm going to share this so that way. And we're going to add the stage. Let's see. So Item 3 sold over 10,000 copies. I did see that. We got LG in the chat. Nice to see you. Let's see. So there's Edwin saying hello to everybody. Yes, the Yaira comics are really good, and Yaira Free looks promising and some great looking covers. I agree. We'll go through the covers. Then we'll do the Rippaspiracy segment because we have some. I have this, and I think I want to do segments so that way people can clip because I know Student of God likes clipping. And he said do segments so that way I know how to clip. Or that way I can make it, or that way the stream is clippable. But we're going for this. This is cover A, and this is Rini's cover. So Rini did the map for Great War Separation, in Great War Separation number 1. And of course, she's doing, or she, did a cover, the A cover for Yaira number 3 with Stefania and Yaira fighting. Looks absolutely fantastic. Can't wait to get my hands on this one. And we've got cover B. This is the retro cover by Kanan White. Of course, you had all the drama because there was a version of this uploaded that had is removed. So there's a minor typo, and there are some copy editing errors. And while that's a little bit frustrating, this isn't a fraudulent thing. But of course, it gets construed as that being. But otherwise, this is such a fantastic looking cover. And I always love these text blocks because it's what's 4 retro covers. Because I've got one from I think it's 350 or issue 350 of the Amazing Spider-Man from 1991, drawn by Eric Larson. And it's got text like that. It's like the return of Uncle Ben. So it's clearly speaking to the reader to give you more information about a character you're invested in. So absolutely love this. Is of course done by Kanan White. Absolutely love Letterbox, or the character box here, the Rippaverse Code of Ethics, and of course Kanan's fantastic art. So that is Yaira Free cover B. This is, of course, a C cover, so I only went with one signed and graded copy because I've got 2 boxes full. I actually got some CGC boxes from my mom, so thank you, Mom. She got those for me, and I filled both of them up with my slabs for the Rippaverse. So I have a problem with collecting these. So I only went with one, and I went with this one. I believe this is Magus Kunite. This is probably most likely, I think. I'm saying it like that, but this is Magus Newmite's Bride, and we can go into Magus Newmite's card, and then we'll go to Yaira Free cover D. So this was the cover reveal that we got for the $500,000 benchmark for Item number 3, and along with Searcher number 1. And I was like, oh, this could be the C cover. and this is actually the D cover. Looks absolutely fantastic. I believe this is, we can go to this being, not this being, but we'll see cover D is by Jack Herbert. Yeah, Jack Herbert's cover. Absolutely fantastic. Cover C is done by, Zoran Jovic and Marcus Martin doing the colors. Absolutely love this one. Online fan is saying he's getting cover D himself. Absolutely fantastic. Do love the mass print covers. They are always really nice, and they're also cheaper. $15 because they do. They order those in large quantities, and then the foil and emboss being pretty is pretty reasonable because it's higher quality. Of course, costs more to foil and emboss, but everything else is I would say the other ones are pretty reasonable. This is going to be a 56 pager, I believe. I think it's going to be a 56 pager. Let's see. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Yaira is going to be a 56 pager. We can go back to the collection. Let's see. But I'm getting I'm getting a little bit lost because I'm not the I guess I'm a bit tired, but I'm not sure if it says, but I believe it would be a 56 pager. But yeah, so I think what we'll want to do, since we got 9 people in the chat, and I want to keep let's see. Okay, just LG talking to Garfield, that's all fine. But we're going to go to the I had it. Oof. But we'll go to let's see. Because Rippa Guy had a theory about, and I had it. Let's see. So I'm definitely unfamiliar with the Rippaspiracy. So the Rippaspiracies is this new segment I'm doing, and we're just going to speculate about things that are upcoming on the Rippaverse. Of course, we had a major leak from the Rippaverse, and it seems like I have X'd out all of. You're in the chat, so it's pinned on your profile. So yeah, you had another one, and if you want to come into the chat and talk about this, I will invite. If not, it's okay. But yeah, you did make a video, and I watched this. This involves Harriet. So yeah, it's this video, and we'll go to the character profile here. See if I do a full screen. Of course, Hail Ripper Guy, of course. If we can set the there we go. Let's see. So this is talking about there was some information that was uploaded, and I didn't get access to it because I saw it and I was at work, and the connection wasn't the best. It didn't load up for me, and you guys were saying something leaked, and I didn't know which character it was because there were so many, and it ended up being Harriet Silman. So maybe there's something in the apple pie. That seems to be the implication. So we read the apple pie recipe from Rippazine 3. Of course, she has recipes in the first 2 Rippazines, so I think it'd be worth rereading those. But those do seem to be breaking the 4th wall, so I doubt they're canonical to her character. They're not things she actually said, but I think they do give maybe a little bit of an implication on what's coming, allows us to speculate. But yeah, I definitely think Iceland's powers are acquired. And this is what we've seen. We see this in Gooding the Polymath. We see this. I say Gooding the Polymath is probably the best example of a character that acquired powers. It's a Splatterpuss. He got his powers via experimentation, and of course, it seems to be what the case will be with Brian Solari in Great War Separation. Most likely number 2, because that's what it seems like. So we're going to see Brian Solari becoming an Accept. It's going to be really, really interesting. Let's see. Mike has bad news. Watch the Rippa Guy video. So we've got. Let's see. I'm not sure if I'm seeing you in the chat. So saying. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Added you to the stage. Okay, there we go. So yeah, how you doing?
Hey, good, good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Hope the rest of the chat can hear you. So I'm gonna get the chat back up. Here we go. Let's see. My theory is that Yaira dropped Isom on Dokumon's car. Very valid indeed, right? So I'm going to get the character page for let's see, we'll go to rippaverse.com and I'm going to get the character page pulled up for Harriet's Harriet Sylvan. And then we can speculate wildly. So I think since you're in, we can talk about the Rippaverse theories. So what theories are most appealing to you, or I guess are Rippaspiracies? I want to keep the pun intact. So why don't you go with that if you're still with me?
Yeah, so I just posted up that video about Harriet Silman's character page, and this was brought up to my attention by Jokingly on X. And in my video, he surprised me, like, "Did you check out the page?" And I'm like, "No, what happened?" And so at first I was like, "Okay, I'll just be surprised for the first time when I find out later if they might post it up," because he already said that they corrected it. But he did take screenshots, so he shared it with me, and I'm like, "Okay, I want to know." And it was just interesting because there was some stuff on that page that is not on there anymore, and I guess it's good that they did. I mean, it would be best that they correct that, right? Because we don't know much about Avery's mom, and it makes me think that if Harriet's page was corrected, what's to say that all the other character pages are not necessarily set in stone? Yeah, we might, we'll get more information about their backgrounds, maybe more history in there as time goes by, but maybe there's just additional or extra stuff that is not set in stone. Maybe, the except characters and their abilities that we know of now, maybe they have even more abilities, right? They could power up even more. And we'll find that out later. And we just don't know of those right now. And that's what the characters page shows. So it was exciting for me to know. And I just wanted to share that with Harriet Silman's character page. This just proves that the Great War Separation is not just about us finding some things about, Brian Solari, the other excepts in the military, and the DARPA team and things like that. We're gonna find out more about Avery's family. There's been theories about people saying, "Oh, maybe Avery's bloodline is linked to Bloodruth, right? Maybe he's part of the cursed bloodline, and maybe that's why Bloodruth was she said she wanted to she felt like she needed to come to Forest Park. Did she need to come to Forest Park because of the Hellions there, or was it more so Hellions plus Avery Stillman or Isom? And it just so happened that the timing just linked, started to sync together, and that's why we have them in the stories in the current timeline that we read of them right now with Isom in his retirement years. So it's just so much of those thoughts. Like we already have theories, but even after finding that out, I was like more questions came about, and that got me more excited about what I thought I would have expected in the Great War Separation. Now I have more to expect in there, and I don't know. It just feels exciting,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. But I'm gonna debunk your Rippaspiracy about Isom and Bloodroof being related. So of course we know in Isom number 2, Isom meets Gooding, and through Gooding is introduced to Bloodroof by going to her castle, which we know how she got in Bloodroof number 1. And when that encounter happens, Bloodroof has no idea who Isom is, and if they're related, and they have this intimate knowledge of their family tree, I feel like if she was going for Isom, she would have known who he was, right? That's my biggest, I would say, theory. Though we've got Zaid Comics in the chat. I read Magic Cop. I liked it. It was a good book. I'm going to get those reviews out this month. I still need to go through the lost pages, miss all the lost pages, and then do those interview or do the overview and the review of them and film them, get them all posted. But I'm going to get it out by the end of this month. If you don't, then you can unsubscribe and say that everyone else should as well, because I'm not sticking up to the deadline I set for myself. But anyways, that is, I guess, my personal review schedule, and I got Narwhal Shark Compendium. But keeping it back on the comics, I think another interesting one, I think to get away, not necessarily get away from this, but we'll go to Tuna. And of course, Tuna's character was added as well, making one appearance in Horseman Welcome to Flores Park. And this is spoilers for Horseman Welcome to Flores Park, but Tuna does die at the end. Of course, he is in the trailer. He's got that voiceover that's very prominent. And an interesting thing I find out about him, or you find out about him, is this former SSWL wrestler turned crime lord has an unquenchable hunger to consume and amass. Tuna may be a shadow of the great athlete he once was, but he remains as brutal, merciless as an opponent to any who dare cross him. And I think maybe Tuna comes back as like some sort of cyborg or something like that, because he was killed. But we'll see what happens with that. It'd be really interesting, because I like the character of Tuna, and I think if he's only used in this, he's underutilized. Of course, you can have stories that are before Horseman Welcome to Flores Park, especially if we do an SSWL series. And Big Tuna's involved in that. It takes place with like Larry Shungite rising through the ranks, and him fighting the corruption. So what's your take on that as I go to the Larry Shungite page, so that way we can get his information and I kind of link this all together?
Yeah, that Tuna being a part of a former SSWL wrestler, that is interesting, because before this we only knew of Larry Shungite, right, being part of wrestling. Now we have Big Tuna. If Big Tuna is dead, yeah, I guess your theory of him coming back as a cyborg might be something that could happen. But what if he has children, right? They find out he's dead, and they are former wrestlers. I don't know, maybe Shungite is his son, a nephew, or just somebody Shungite knows of Tuna and wants to get revenge of somebody taking him out. Maybe his kids come and avenge his death, and now we have a whole different storyline that seeps into the wrestling realm of this Rippaverse comics universe. That'll be interesting. I don't think do you know of, or anybody in the chat know of, another comic book universe utilizing wrestling as a very as a common storyline or series of comic books? That'll be interesting, because I haven't seen of that. I mean, I've heard of the WWF or WWE wrestling comic books and things like that, but they're not part of any specific lore or universe that's ongoing, right? And so it's just kind of like one shot or a couple of books in a series just to showcase and sell books related to The Rock or Stone Cold Steve Austin, because I have some of them. But to have a long-lasting wrestling type of storyline connected to a bigger comic book universe like the Rippaverse would be an interesting thing to see, because if no other company has done that, if Rippaverse could make this happen and make it like a really, really big thing, who knows? The possibilities are endless in terms of, okay, if we're going to have wrestling in the animation, do we now have voiceovers from actual wrestlers from WWE or AEW, right? And then more so, the collaboration between comic books and other entertainment platforms such as wrestling or MMA is going to be a big thing, and that could skyrocket Rippaverse even further. So, my theories and my thinking process is not just with the stories, like how big Rippaverse can be with collaborations out there in other forms of entertainment. We already had the leak of Slash being part of the Rippaverse in some capacity, right? So we don't know all the gist of it. Eric just says, yeah, this is a thing. More will come of it. I'm guessing it's going to be part of Norfolka with his skills as a guitarist. So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And we're all wondering, like, when is the wrestling part of the storyline going to come back? When is Shungite going to come back? Where are we going to find out more of him? I think that's something that Rippaverse and Eric July just needs to figure out more, and if they need a little bit more time to figure out the foundations of how to make that happen, let it be, because once the stories come out about the wrestling realm and everything, it has to be somewhat familiar, right? I grew up wrestling with WWF, the Rock, Undertaker, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Kane, all those things. There's a culture to it, there's a familiarity to it. So if we can capture that in comic form and animation form later, and in uh, action movies later on, that'll be great. That'll be interesting. And I don't know, I'm just thinking of things in the future, and it's crazy how, some of the stuff that we were thinking back then, year one of the Rippaverse, it's already happened, such as the statues, such as the other merch that we see. It's crazy and amazing. And Rippasin coming out, another platform that helps to push other comic book creators out there. This is stuff that was talked on early on in Rippaverse, and it's already a reality. And so it's crazy. It's just
Yeah, yeah,
exciting to hear
and
about.
they're working with Angel Studios and with Gabriel the Guardians. To me,
Exactly.
that's going to be like an ongoing thing with an animated show. Very, 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 like, I would say it's a bit mind blowing, but yeah, I think it's all very interesting stuff. Wrestling. I was born in '98, so I was basically the end of the heyday of wrestling, and I never really got into it. Never really got into any sports. But yeah, you're right. There's a massive long culture with wrestling. It's basically modern day theater. That's what it is, because it's all let's see, connections unstable. Oof, man. So hopefully, might be the sign to start wrapping things up, because there's another live stream going on, as you know, right? So I wanted to talk a little bit about what if the Rippaverse made a video game. So we'll end the Rippaspiracy series there, because I think we could go on for hours. I want to keep this a little bit short, because there's a live stream going on with Rippa and Young Flash to celebrate young Mighty Goalie Patriot coming out. So Mike Has Bad News does say that Harriet is a little bit of a MILF. That's a very inappropriate, but you can definitely have your opinions. Of course, she's not unattractive. So they were floating around, and this is something I've talked about before, because I love to play video games. I've played all sorts of games. They're talking about doing a fighting game. We got some, let's see, basic visuals around this. But there really isn't anything that gives us there's no V slice, there's no alpha footage, there's no game that's actually been developed. This is just some very basic proof of concept stuff for a fighting game. And fighting games aren't necessarily my thing, but I think the thing that would be like massive appeal, and you could sell this for $20. You make a couple hour long game that's a side scrolling beat 'em up, in that 16-bit style. And it's like Double Dragon or something like that, or kind of plays like Contra, maybe with some elements of Contra. But I'm thinking something like Double Dragon. That's the beat 'em up kings. Of course, oh yeah, so Rippa guy left. So I guess I'm going to do a little bit commentary, and I like I said, I think that's the best game, because of course a really cool thing would be to have like an open world game where you play as Yaira, right, throughout her entire life in terms of like with something made at the competency of God of War. But I think a more realistic thing would be to have it beat up, maybe even a game like Sifu. So having Rippaverse Studios actually develop video games is a long-term thing, and to see that they're already talking about is a really impressive thing. But I'm going to cut this episode short. Most of you guys have left already because there's other stream going on. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this like really short, for a live stream of Braxcast Live. But I'm going to end it here. Hopefully you guys enjoy the stream that Eric does with Flash. And of course, I will still be making the episode of Braxcast on Saturday where I'll talk about all of this. But for now, you guys have a good night and a good weekend.